Hello everyone and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts Stocks and Crypto YouTube video. Today is Monday, August 25, 2025. It's just about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the USA. Welcome everyone. This is a swing trading and investing charts YouTube video. Let's start right away with Bitcoin. Apparently, the big news this past weekend, a couple days, is that several Bitcoin whales sold off billions and millions worth of Bitcoin and apparently bought Ethereum instead. This triggered a normal, natural sell-off of stop losses activated on the downside and bears opening bearish red positions. So this is normal market dynamics. Remember, if you watch my videos or read the watch list for about maybe 2 or 3 weeks, this whole month I've been saying I'm starting to see bearish momentum, bearish resistance. So even on the daily chart, mark that resistance point about 120,000, losing momentum on the MACD, losing momentum RSI and the stochastic RSI. The weekly as well. Last week I was saying we have a double top on Bitcoin. That is bad. Usually when we have a double top, the price goes down on Bitcoin long term. Also, longer term, in terms of 2025, we're actually losing. We're seeing the bearish momentum now, losing MACD, RSI, and stochastic RSI momentum. So that's double bearish momentum on a weekly and a daily chart right below $125,000 resistance. And to make matters even more difficult for bulls and longs, we started downtrending on a 4-hour. Okay, this is a downtrend, not a consolidation. This is a lower high, still under the resistance zone. If we pull up EMAs, got EMA rejection to the downside. It is not an uptrend right now. That is why I've been hands off on Bitcoin. Now, where could the price stop? Bitcoin usually likes to go to extremes. So if I pull up EMAs like we're seeing right now, we already lost the 100 EMA, which is about 110.6K. The next major resistance down would be somewhere halfway, 106 and then 103K. Now, in terms of, is it going to drop that low? Probably not. It looks like the price has been fighting a dip right below 109K at the making of this video. Bollinger Band is violated to the downside. We did have this last time. If we happen to have any good news this week, it might have a bounce up. Linear regression in the past 100 days is showing we're in the oversold zone for those two indicators only. Bollinger Band and linear regression, we're on the second deviation on the way down. Now, in terms of stochastic RSI, there is a little bit of actually bullish momentum that's building now. Once we have this crash to the downside, we can see the stochastic, I call it Stoch RSI, building some bullish momentum, double MACD momentum. It's going to take a little bit of time. This is not an instant rally or short squeeze. It's going to take a little bit of time. And also for the big bottom, in terms of relative bottom for the summer, I would say that this weekly stochastic RSI has to go down a lot more. So we need to see a lot more selling to make that call. So right now it's probably going to be an intraday day trading play opportunity that I might do. It really depends on my style. For example, if I'm trying to day trade, I'm just looking for maybe 5-minute, 15-minute, maybe double bullish divergence or something like that. Just some kind of extreme where I'm thinking, okay, maybe overnight in the EU session and the American session, we might get a small little rally, little bounce. But if I'm a swing trader, I'm not seeing any buy signal right now as a swing trader, because previously, if you know my videos and my style, for a 4-hour swing trade, I need to see a trend change reversal or some kind of double bottom at least, right? None of that is happening right now. We're on the initial entry stage on the left side of all of those patterns. So that's why it's very wise for me personally to just wait for a little bit more structure in the price, a little bit more support. It's not confirmation. per se. It's just I do not want to catch just a straight falling down knife just because an RSI went purple just for 1 second below 30. That's not my strategy. Have a higher win rate, wait. Personally, that's just me. I'm waiting for a trend change reversal, W double bottom, upside down head and shoulders, uptrend reversal, V-shaped recovery, which would be an uptrend reversal on a 1 hour, 15-minute chart. From a daily standpoint, it's starting to get into that zone of the oversold. If I pull up a visible range volume profile of all of 2025, we can see there is a spike at 105. There's also a spike at 107. So that's the zone I'm anticipating, 104 to like 107 area. It could also just bounce. It's already finding short-term support right now around 109 to 108. So if it happens to dip down here, I want to see something like what happened in June 2025, where it's dipping below this Bollinger Band. And then if we have a bullish engulfing or a nice hammer, I might re-enter. So it's getting close to my setup in terms of buying a low Bollinger Band, low linear regression setup, but a little bit more patience is required to time the smaller timeframes, intraday timeframes. However, the risk is we don't really know, is this billionaire and friends, millionaires done selling? And when will the bears stop selling? I need to see that price action appear on the chart. Where's the green candle? It's not here yet. Or at least the hammer candle. Can I get at least a hammer candle? Or a Morningstar reversal? I need to see one of those. So that's Bitcoin. Let's rapid fire a couple altcoins. I'm not going to go that detailed. For the rest, it's very similar. Ethereum, we hit a resistance point. I was saying last time we have that double top below 4,900. You can also see it on a weekly chart as well, the V shape. The 4 hours is obvious as well. So the same logic applies that if I am waiting for, and this might not happen for Ethereum because it's the hottest stock right now, the extreme zone for Ethereum would be way down here at 3,500. Probably not happening. If I just bring some Fibonacci's here, low to high, probably the zone it's fighting is 4,300 to 4,000. I'll just mark it in blue right here. This is the zone that I'm watching out for. Intraday, it could bounce at any spot. It's just where the big sellers are going to just let go and close their short positions over tonight if they're going to do that. So that's just some potential zone I'm looking at right at 4,300. Next, XRP. Similar, it's already been downtrending. If somebody is very, very sensitive to downtrends, it happened once, had a nice news recovery, but it established a lower high. It's actually inside of a giant symmetrical triangle now. If we lose support of 280, we could temporarily flash crash to 263. I also, sometimes some of these altcoins like XRP does not flash crash below the Bollinger Band. If we happen to hold that support above 282, it would be nice to get a little flash bounce, quick bounce, very small term trade. Solana, you can see it right here. It poked straight out of that upper Bollinger Band. This was correlated with stocks today, a lot of meme stocks, including Open Door, Open crashed today. And I took no trades today. I'm thinking stocks and crypto, something suspiciously high right now. I think people were just excited for 1 to 3 days on that FOMC news. And it turned into an evening star. Now, it's already consolidating. It just became a new day for 1 hour ago for me on this chart. So it's consolidating to the side. We could have a recovery back to 191. It's definitely possible. It's not extreme on the daily chart, but if I go intraday, I mean, on an hourly, it's looking a little bit suspicious, but just want to make sure that it's not going to flash dump. But if I had to take some kind of paper trade for an educational example with a stop loss, get plenty of room, use an ATR, okay, ATR $3, maybe $6 ATR just to get started. So 3.5%, let's say. Maybe target at least at 1-to-1 if I want to be safe, 3.5. It might not bounce 7%. So maybe the first target 3.5, and then if I really want to tighten that stop loss, maybe only make it like 1 or 1.5% because it's consolidating for 4 hours straight to the sideways. So 109 is being defended at the time of this video. All right, that's enough of the crypto segment. A lot of coins look like that. Flash crash, just there's no forcing me to trade. If I don't see a setup, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm a longer term trader. Sometimes I can just wait for a bigger pattern like this one in August and have a nice rally. 1% scalping is just not for me anymore because we don't use that much leverage here in the USA. It's actually capped. It's only like 2 to 5 times leverage maximum on legal USA exchanges. So Americans, we're probably not panicking as much as international leverage traders right now. All right, let's go to stocks. SPY, SPY. SPY also hitting this double top. So the FOMC, the Jackson Hole speech from FOMC chairman was a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit bullish. That's why we had that green candle on Friday, but we hit the double top resistance at 646. Okay, so 645, 646 is that purple resistance right there on the chart. On the weekly chart, it's not extreme. If we are going to top out, it needs to come down, probably have an intraday bounce. And then if it turns to a double top, then people are going to get a little bit more scared, like in end of 2024. Just one little dip is probably going to bounce unless there's really terrible news. We have Nvidia earnings this week. So we have this trend line, and that immediate support is about 638 to 633 zone here below. Watching that right now. Tightening up. So for me, I like sometimes buying extreme crashes because that's where I get the best value. But it only happens maybe 1 or 2 times a year in terms of a larger than usual crash on SPY. We're still in the golden upcross, however, and starting to consolidate right now. QQQ, same thing I'm saying as last time. We're still in this We're still in this golden cross, potential head and shoulders, the resistance zone now, 582 and 572. It's quite a large range. Nvidia earnings on deck for this week, not at any extreme in the Bollinger Band or linear regression, although we did tap out of it on Thursday and bounce back. So stochastic RSI is low, below 10 for me, which means some intraday setups are probably ready to try to attempt a continuation on the uptrend of their price, although the lower price was last week. So on this 4 hour, if I'm really going to be detailed about it, we're still under this resistance on this trend line, turning to a larger, longer term sim triangle consolidation. That's why we're having some hesitation right now. I would not be surprised if we pulled back to at least an EMA 567 or 565. If we have surprise good news, though, just watch out for the short squeeze. This thing could pop to the upside. Dow Jones, nice breakout on Dow Jones. And I want to make it clear that if there's ever a resistance, it does not mean it's actually going to 100% go down. It just means when an uptrend is facing a resistance is the test. If there's good news or bad news, if there's good earnings or bad earnings, if there's bad events, we probably would have went red. But it was good news, so we pop up green, back test the support level, now about 452.25. Still in this golden upcross, nothing to be extremely scared about. But if you're on a weekly chart, it is starting to get a little bit up in the air. Not extreme, however, on Bollinger Band in terms of deviations. Russell 2000 had a nice bounce. And you can see clearly in that uptrend. So remember maybe it was 2 weeks ago saying this was that potential setup of the bounce, and that absolutely happened. So high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, higher, high. If we're going to pull back, make a higher low, let the EMAs catch up. Probably pulling back to about 229.27. And remember, I don't take every trade. Probably in this entire structure from April to September, I might have only taken maybe 4. 2 to 4 trades only. If I'm very, very strict with my strategy, right? The extreme oversold, and then the daily cross is actually double cross. EMA is actually 2. If I'm really into it, trying to trade IWM, which I don't, trade this ETF as much as I used to, the pin bar 200 EMA play, or finally last one, maybe some kind of last dip in one of these spots. We're doing okay here in the market. Just have to make it through to the next FOMC meeting, to be honest. Bitcoin bouncing. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's do a little bit of what's upcoming. So we have Nvidia earnings. And let's just mark the resistance zone. Immediate resistance, 183. Next pivot point way up here, 190. And to a psychological 200, 204. If you have anything wrong at all, which would be a little bit surprising, 175, 171, and then 166 is the support and resistance, still in this golden uptrend since May. And yes, there is a head and shoulders, but the earnings overrides the technicals. Let's do one more. Just look at this chart. Let's do Best Buy because it's a retail store related to electronics and such. Let's go to daily chart. Best Buy actually in a downtrend on the price, consolidating. There's been some accumulation right now, trying to make an uptrend reversal going right into earnings. But in the long term, it's in a downtrend. Low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high. So if their earnings is good, they really need it to be good to try to save their company. Now, it's right at the resistance zone of about $74. We're going to see the support zone at 65, the halfway point about 70 in terms of the support and resistance. Trend line, low to high, starting to build actually an ascending triangle. So that's why people are getting a little bit excited about this stock. If earnings are really bad, we can hit 70 to about 68. It's not extreme. It was extreme only in 2 spots, April 25 and August 25. I really don't like buying resistance breakouts towards the top because it's very easy for it to collapse. But Best Buy is probably not going to collapse in one day. That's more about crypto mentality. So let's end this video with the weekly watch list. This week, earnings releases. We have Royal Bank of Canada, Kohl's, Nvidia for earnings. CrowdStrike, Five Below, Best Buy, Dollar General, Affirm, Dell, Marvell, Petco, Ulta Beauty, and Alibaba, just to name a few. Economic data, new home sales, durable goods, consumer confidence, manufacturing index. Preliminary GDP is going to be the big one. Home sales as well. That might affect open door stock. Core PCE price index. Those are the 2 most important, and consumer sentiment as well of data from the US. Recent news. Multiple European postal services, including India and multiple countries within the EU, halted shipments of some merchandise to the USA due to lack of clarity over the new USA import tariffs. The Trump administration said they will continue to look to make similar investments across industries, similar to the recent Intel deal. Although some people on social media were saying that's kind of controversial, but it is what it is. It's happening. It's not in my control. It's not in anybody's control, really. Furniture stocks sink due to new import tariff threat. Wayfair, Williams-Sonoma, RH, unfortunately, their stocks plunging because of furniture import tariffs. Elon Musk's X and XAI, that's a tongue twister. X and XAI files lawsuit against Apple and OpenAI due to violation of competition law. Interesting development. And then for crypto, several whales sold billions and millions of USD worth of Bitcoin to buy Ethereum in the past week, triggering the short-term flash crash. That's happening right now, but that support is holding on Bitcoin above 109. I'm liking this. And if this hammer candle can hold for 24 hours, maybe we'll get the bounce right at my perfect resistance support zone, previous resistance zone. Remember, this is right outside here. If we can get the outside Bollinger Band linear regression bounce, maybe to at least 110, 111, might get a little bit of gains this week in this little crypto trade. Excuse me. Thank you everyone for watching. If you liked this video, learn from this video, go ahead and click subscribe, hit the like button, share this with your friends. Remember, let's manage risk, have patience and discipline to trade our strategies. See you in the next video.